You may take the knowledge, vision, and behind-the-wheel driving tests at most DMV field offices that provide driver's license services. To save time, make an appointment at dmv.ca.gov or call 1-800-777-0133 during normal business hours. Note, knowledge and vision tests are required when you apply for an original driver's license or upgrade to a different class of driver's license. Your driver's license examination include a vision test. It's important that you bring your eyeglasses or wear contact lenses if required for driving. A knowledge test. The DMV utilizes an automated touchscreen terminal for the test. It's called a TST to administer the knowledge test. Behind the wheel driving test, if required. For the test, you must have an appointment and bring your old driver's license or instructional permit if you have one. A licensed driver over the age of 18 or older with a valid California driver's license, and proof that the vehicle is properly insured. Important, if you plan on using a rental vehicle, the driving test applicant must be listed on the rental contract, and the contract must not exclude driving tests. It must be a vehicle that is safe to drive, has valid registration, must have brake lights, a horn, parking brake, and turn signals that all must work properly. The vehicle cannot have bald tires, which would have less than 1/32-inch tread depth in any two adjacent grooves. The driver's side window must roll down. The windshield must allow full unobstructed vision for you and the examiner. There must be at least 2 rear view mirrors. One must be on the outside of the vehicle on the left. You will also be asked to locate the controls of the vehicle's headlights, windshield wipers, defroster, and emergency flashers. You must demonstrate how to use the parking brake. Note, the behind-the-wheel driving test will be rescheduled if the vehicle does not meet the above requirements or if you refuse to use your seat belt during the driving test. Technology such as backup cameras, self-parking cannot solely be used on a driving test. For your safety, no pets or passengers other than the DMV examiner or authorized personnel are permitted in the vehicle during your driving test. For more information, refer to the Preparing for Your Driving Test FFDL22 Fast Facts brochure, DMV videos, and sample tests available at www.dmv.ca.gov. The use of testing aids is strictly prohibited. This includes, but is not limited to, the California Driver Handbook, cheat sheets, and/or electronic communication devices such as cell phone, handheld computer, etc. If any testing aid is used during the knowledge test will be marked as a failure. An action may also be taken by the DMV against your driving privilege or the driving privilege of anyone else who assists you during the examination process. A minor is any person under the age of 18 years old. Minors must have their applications for a driver's license or any change of driver's license class signed by their parents or legal guardians. If both parents have joint custody, both parents must sign. Note: minors may not work as a driver for pay, and they may not drive a school bus containing pupils. To get a permit, you must be at least 15 years old, complete the driver's license ID card application, DL44/EDL44 form. Have your parents or legal guardians sign the application. Note: you can fill out the driver's license and ID card application online, and your parents or legal guardians can sign the form electronically. You must pass the knowledge test. If you fail the test, you must wait 7 days, 1 week, not including the day the test was failed, before retaking the test. If you are 15.5 to 17.5 years old, you will need to provide proof that you completed driver's education, a certificate of completion of driver's education, or are enrolled in a participating and approved integrated driver education driver training program, certificate of enrollment in an integrated classroom driver education and driver training program. For more information, refer to the Provisional Licensing FFDL 19 Fast Facts brochure at www.dmv.ca.gov. The provisional permit is not valid until you start your behind the wheel training with an instructor or reach 17.5 years of age. If you have a permit and plan to continue driving outside of California, check the licensing requirements in that state or country. Note: if you're at least 17.5 years old, you may obtain a permit without completing driver's education or driver's training. However, you cannot get your driver's license before you are 18 years old. Your permit is not valid until you begin driver's training. Your instructor will sign the permit to validate it. You must practice with a licensed California driver, parent, guardian, driving instructor, spouse, or an adult 25 years or older. The person must sit close enough to you to take control of the vehicle at any time. A provisional permit does not allow you to drive alone at any time, even to a DMV field office to take the driving test. You must be at least 16 years old, prove that you have completed both driver education and driver's training, have had a California instruction permit or an instruction permit from another state for at least 6 months. Refer to the out-of-state minor section on page 15. Provide parent or guardian signatures on your instruction permit certifying that you have completed 50 hours of supervised driving practice. 10 hours must be at night. You can view this in the California Teen Parent Training Guide, DL603. Visit the team website at dmv.ca.gov or call 1-800-777-0133 to request this book. Pay a non-refundable application fee. No, this fee is good for 12 months. If all requirements are met within the 12 months, are not met within the 12 months, the application is not valid and you must reapply. Pass each of the required knowledge tests. If you fail the knowledge test 3 times, the application is no longer valid and you must reapply. Pass the driving test within 3 attempts. Important. If you fail the driving test, you must pay a retest fee, schedule a subsequent test, and wait 14 days, or 2 weeks, not including the day the test was failed, before you are retested. If you fail the driving test 3 times, the application is no longer valid and you must reapply. Once you have your provisional driver's license, you may drive alone as long as you don't have any collisions or traffic violations on your driving record. During the first 12 months after you are licensed, you cannot drive between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. and cannot transport passengers under 20 years old unless accompanied by a California licensed parent or guardian, a California driver 25 years or older, or a licensed and certified driving instructor. When you become 18, the provisional part of your driver's license ends. You may keep your provisional photo driver's license or pay a fee for a duplicate driver's license without the word provisional. The law allows the following exceptions when a reasonable transportation is not available and it is necessary to drive. A signed note explaining the necessity to drive and the date when the driving is a necessity will end must be kept in your possession for the following exceptions. Emancipated minors are excluded from this requirement. A medical necessity to drive when reasonable transportation alternatives are inadequate. The note must be signed by a physician with the diagnosis and the probable date of recovery. Schooling or school authorized activity. The note must be signed by the school principal, dean, or designee. Employment necessity and the need to operate a vehicle as part of your employment. The note must be signed by the employer verifying your employment. The necessity to drive an immediate family member. The note must be signed by your parents or legal guardians, stating the reason and probable end date of the necessity to drive the immediate family member. Exceptions. These requirements do not apply to an emancipated minor. Emancipated minors must provide the DMV with court documents showing the court has granted their petition for emancipation and provide a California insurance proof certificate, an SR22/SR1P form in lieu of their parents' or guarantors' signatures. Emancipated minors are not exempt from the integrated driver's education and driver's training program requirements. Out-of-state minor applicants must comply with the application requirements as outlined in the application requirements for a basic Class C driver's license section on page 6, and must have parents or legal guardian's signature on the driver's license ID card and application, DL44/EDL44 forms. Out-of-state minors permit applicants must meet the requirements listed in the Minors Permit Requirements section on page 12. In addition, if your driver education and driver training courses were taken in a state other than California, the DMV may accept to a secondary schools other than California schools, a DL33, form completed by the out-of-state secondary school. You may obtain a DL33 at your local DMV field office or by calling the DMV at 1-800-777-0133. Send the DL33 to your out-of-state secondary school and ask them to complete and return the form to you. You will be asked to present your out-of-state driver's license and pass a knowledge test as part of the application process. The behind-the-wheel driving tests for holders of out-of-state driver's licenses are normally waived. However, the DMV may require a behind-the-wheel driving test for any type of driver's license application. Note: out-of-state minor applicants are subject to all provisional restrictions per California law for the first year of the driver's license or until they turn 18 years old. Teenagers, as a group, average twice as many collisions as adult drivers, while driving only half as many miles. The teenage collision rate per mile is 4 times greater than the adult driver collision rate per mile. Traffic deaths of new drivers are deadly combinations of their inexperienced driving, lack of familiarity with the vehicle, and their need to push themselves and their vehicle to the limit.